build right now. And it makes a lot of sense. SKT's last regular season game. Everybody wants to come down and see it, support them.
BBQ's last regular season game, too.
Yeah, exactly. I was getting to that. I hadn't forgotten about the chickens, the roosters, the Olivers, I guess, is their official name. But yeah, everybody's coming down, and it is a big night, in fact. We didn't get a chance to mention that Samsung versus Longju match, but make sure you guys are tuning in to that later on tonight. Should start around 8 p.m. KST, or in about 2 hours and 50 minutes. And it will determine who will make it straight into the finals and who will be sitting at third out of those two teams. So a big match indeed for everyone involved in the playoffs.
You can shorten that to a battle for first place. Nothing gets more exciting than those words. Hell, you know, when you're really competitive, you end up watching battles for first place in every other sport. You could tell me about badminton, and as long as you say, hey, this is the first place battle, I'm watching that. Battle for ping pong, any activity, curling, as long as it's a first place battle or a first place game, that's the ones that everybody wants to watch, regardless of them being a fan of the sport itself.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I'm not a big fan of the fans who are like, no, I only like one game. I'm not going to watch anything else. This is the only thing I enjoy. I am specifically only a League of Legends fan, and that is it. I like people who just like to watch for the competition of it all, you know, because after all, we are just fans of games, and you can have your favorites, but it's very fun to watch the more competitive games, as you were mentioning, in multiple different sports, not even just esports.
You know, watching Roger Federer kick some ass, that's so satisfying. Or a NBA final, any competition. We're born to compete.
Born to struggle, born to survive, as is Faker here in the lane. He says, hey, this harass is too much. We got to pause this game. This is not allowed.
He does not have any more charges on his flask, so he is in trouble in this lane. This is what the early game is supposed to look like for BBQ. They have to be really aggressive early on, and Wolf maybe asking for a new chair. We've already been through that one, Wolf. No more.
Wolf can only hear out of one side of his headset, so will be an audio issue coming into this one. No skin issue. It seems like all of SKT has kind of embraced the skin issue. They say, hey, we cannot change that. So sorry. That means that Faker will have to play with certain skins, as will Wolf. But we can get the sound issue fixed in just a moment, guys.
It's like when you listen to the best song in the world, but then you only hear it out of one ear. So you hear only the chorus or certain lines when the music is recorded specifically so that it comes out of both sides of the ear. You absolutely must have it. So sometimes it's passable if you can only hear out of one side. But hey, in the competition, in League of Legends, that music is soothing. You cannot have it coming out only on your left or right ears.
I just remember when I was young and I had these really cheap headphones, and I would try to listen to Bohemian Rhapsody, and there are certain parts where they only come out of one side of the headphones, so only one side of my headphones worked because they were cheap, they were half broken, and I would only hear half the song, so I couldn't actually enjoy it, you know? That's like Faker, or rather Wolf in this game. He wants to make sure he hears everything.
Speaking of Faker, I'll have you know, and you can bear witness to this, and you can explain the situation. We sit here in the raised stage of the caster desk.
Yeah, on the throne, if you will.
On the throne. It's for our egos, basically, so that we're not hurt. But walking to the booth, Faker, we lock eyes. What does he do, Valdez? Tell him what he did.
He bowed to Crumbs.
He bowed to me.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I mean, I was describing this before. Faker is going to survive in this lane, by the way, for now. Although Bless is hanging around, but you know, Crumbs is a veteran of League of Legends. He was involved in League of Legends before Faker was. You know what that means? In Korean culture, that means that Faker has to show respect to his sunbae or senpai or whatever you want to call it. So I know that people like to call Faker the senpai, but perhaps Faker has his own senpai in Crumbs tonight.
My ego cannot be more inflated than that.
Okay, that was one auto off. Faker almost died early game.
Imagine if Bless was there to drop a flag on him with the execute onto Faker with that one. That would have been quite an amazing kill.
That would have been pretty sick. The flash flag into just walking away.
But the issue with what Jarvan has been doing in seeking so many ganking opportunities is that he has already fallen behind in farm. And then you have Peanut with 21 CS to Bless's 11. And famously did Apto quote in his solo queue that if his jungler is ganking his lane, he is displeased. But if his jungle is farming and the opposing jungler is ganking, then he knows that he's got a good jungler on his side. Because currently, you get so much power in the jungle just by farming, getting your itemization.
Ooh, knocked out of the leap and rooted down by the Xayah, the forced flash, and a bad start in the bottom lane for SKT as BBQ getting a lot of summoners out of that bot lane.
Yeah, that bottom lane fight was a build-up from the level 2 going onwards, where Ghost and Totoro were hitting the level 2 with the minion wave sooner, kind of threatening Bang and Wolf to get a little closer, and while the harass wasn't apparent, they once again take advantage of a level spike to engage onto the dual lane and get a little bit of a CS lead, even though Tristana still remains in the lane through Alistar's resilience. A CS advantage is beginning to build.
Got sights on Bless here. Untara just pushing in the wave and coming down and saying, hey, I see you. You can't get away with this, but actually you can. So Untara just going to return back to lane. Faker having a bit of trouble in this lane so far. Ooh, a knock. Ghost into the turret. Now you can see Maokai coming on in. Peanut wants to make this first blood work. Ghost with no flash right now. No summoners at all. There the ward comes down. Bang coming in to help out. And the double root and first blood will go over to Wolf. But meanwhile, Faker getting ganked in the mid lane. They're going to trade 1 for 1.
First blood going to Alistar. Pretty much the worst person you want to have that on. The entire goal will go solely to utility. We'll see what Wolf can make out of that, either Mobies or some roaming or Sightstone, which has been their preferred MO. And in the meantime, that gank onto the mid lane was a flashless Faker, so it was Temp that was able to force out Faker's flash earlier. The punishment came through, and right before he hits level 6 with a nice CS advantage. And we're going to look at it again. Don't think any summoners needed to be burned on this one. As easy as you like it. A Kassadin that's overextended, fishing for level 6 is one easy to kill Cass.
About as easy as it gets. And guys, we have another pause. This time, Bang. He doesn't have any sound, perhaps. He's playing with his cords.
The cord gnomes. They've been tangling his mouse.
Yeah. He's like, guys, there's a reason why I messed up in the bot lane. Okay. The cord for his mouse is a little bit tangled.
What did I say? The cord, it's the cord gnomes. You know when you put your headphones in your pocket, you got your little gnomes right there that tangle up your
Yeah, I know, it's so annoying.
Your earbuds.
Mouse issue.
That should resolve it. You'd think these issues wouldn't happen during the game, that they would be taken care of before we enter.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
You would think, right, Crumbs? Not the case.
We will start the game right away, though. We're back in.
Okay, guys, we have an update. The mouse cord is untangled. We are ready to go.
Boy, I love the creativity we're getting with these issues. I hope these pauses
Who's next?
keep coming. Like,
Who's next?
What would be the next possible problem to pester these players?
I'm not sure if I've told this story before, but I was casting StarCraft here in the Nexon Arena, and we had something like a 45-minute pause because one of the players was like, my hotkey, it just doesn't work, I don't understand. And they went through all the things. They replaced his keyboard, they replaced his computer, pretty much everything that they could replace. And at the end of the day, he just didn't find his key bindings right. We spent 45 minutes trying to get his stuff ready, but actually it was his own fault, and they couldn't even resolve that issue. It took 45 minutes.
People don't want to admit it, but the first cost to most issues is stupidity, and here's a gank on bot lane. Weaver's well and Jarvan.
Okay, Wolf in a lot of trouble. No flash. 4-on-1. A cow that big couldn't win that fight. Sorry, Wolf. He is going to go down, and Tempt already having 2 kills in this game, getting 1 on that pre-6 Kassadin in mid lane, and then making use of his ult early on. So using that Talia very effectively so far.
Crazy. Don't get greedy on this one. Kassadin is coming, so they're going to try to turn on him. Oh, yeah, he's going to die.
He really wants this one. Okay. They're not going to come in because they do see the rotation out of BBQ, and the Feast comes down. Crazy going to pick up that red buff.
And ganking bottom lane was the only avenue that BBQ had. Remember, they're the ones that have to be aggressive in the early game. So you're not going to revisit the Kassadin. He's not going to get hit by Talia now that he's level 6. So the knockup is next to impossible. And then you have Jarvan, who similarly will have a difficult time going on to him. So only going bottom lane is the alternative for BBQ. But as long as they maintain pressure onto the mid lane, they don't need to kill him because of just how much damage they've done onto this mid lane tower, that if Tempt can get this tower by himself, it would be a huge bonus for the early game for BBQ that will open up the map and have access to the side lanes more than any other way.
Teleport coming in. Look at how low this turret is already. Bless making his way. Here's Peanut trying to make it a 2-on-2, and they will get that Tempt. Flashing away. Faker getting that Rift Walk, and he does come on in and pick up that kill with the flash. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Ghost getting low. Seems like he's going to survive, though, as Wolf takes another death down there. So a 1-for-1 in the end of it all, but BBQ gets first blood turret.
Oh, but just how you see people get greedy for getting a recall for pushing in the wave. BBQ gets greedy and gives off kills, and Kassadin getting kills is the worst thing that can happen. That's a guy that was behind early, who you want to keep behind. And the fact that they get too excited to try to take that tower, they could have just waited for another wave. Things were going well. If they had a little more patience, it still would have been a probably under 15 minutes mid-tier 1, which would have been great for them. Instead, we'll cut to the bottom lane, see what happens. Probably an engage from Totoro onto Wolf. Yeah, the level 6 comes out. That's not a level 6 cow. There's no match.
Bang almost trades it back. Ghost getting lucky there at the end, surviving with very, very low amounts of health.
Well, now that BBQ have taken down the tier 1, we need to see them control mid lane vision and then rotate to the bottom side of the map. Ganking Trundle is still too difficult. They don't have quite enough damage with the Subjugate. Sure, Feast is there, but this is a lane that has been in a stalemate. It's not quite as difficult or as easy for the Trundle rather than the Maokai lane, because Cho is such a great farmer and has great tools for defending a dive, much more damage than Maokai at that if his Feast is up. And as long as they move towards the bottom side of the map, keep controlling the dragons and pressuring SKT into situations where they have to respond to a dive or at least take preemptive measures against it, they will maintain pressure on the map and find an opportunity for a dive. It's just a matter of trying. It's like fishing. You throw up your bait multiple times and wait for it to bite.
Yeah, definitely a good start here from BBQ. They get that Cloud Drake. The next one will be Infernal, so they will be looking to control that, take that away from Faker and Bang specifically on the side of SKT. Add a bit of buffer to their own AD and AP. Now they're looking for a play in the mid lane. Here comes Peanut once again, but he is going to be spotted.
It's already a level up onto Bless. This is the weakness of Jarvan. He's not a great farmer. He takes so long. The mana costs are not quite there. His mana pool isn't even very large. So unfortunately for him, unless he doesn't get a lot of ganks off, he will fall far behind. Kind of a counterintuitive champion to the way that the jungle meta is played overall currently. But hey, it still works. It still has great playmaking potential. And what will be exciting to see is how on point Bless is going to be with his flash knockup. Because when you have so much CC that can hit a Kassadin, what's going to be most important is that you lock him down. So Totoro might have the opportunity to do so, maybe Tempt, but what is going to be 100% guaranteed is if Bless does a flag and drag and flashes on top of Kassadin when he jumps in. And if they can coordinate that, chain it together, it would be a beautiful display of how to handle a strong assassin that dives onto you. It takes a little bit of coordination, but an experienced Jarvan such as Bless should have no problem communicating this to the team and making sure that anytime that Faker becomes a threat, that they can get rid of him with ease.
Yeah, Faker's going to be looking for his very opportune moments where he hops in and he can't get picked off like that because Cassidy, he's a jump in, burst down some weak target, and then kind of use your mobility to do it again and again. But you always got to have that threat there to make sure that he is taken down. But Bless so far, you were talking about his farm. He's now down 2 levels on Peanut. We'll see if he can get 1 kill and hop up to level 9, as is the way of things now in League of Legends.
We'll also see if Vision tells us the story that we want to know, because if you notice what BBQ have been doing, the wards now are catered towards the left side of the map. A blue side control ward, a regular ward in the blue buff of SKT. This could be an opportunity for Temp to roam the top side, and if they go for a 3-man gank onto Untara, their chance of success is high. They can retaliate with a Rift Herald, which can crack a tier 2, so there is fruits in the top lane to be had, but this is not a free gank because SKT have been acquiring vision into the bottom side, and best of all, that ward in the mid lane will look at what Temp does, and any side that he falters to will be what SKT reads as the overall play that BBQ have in mind.
BBQ got to be careful there. I don't think they saw Peanut. They will now, as Jarvan was hanging around. It was kind of a weird path that Peanut took as the junglers kind of passed side by side in the jungle, but only Bless was spotted out. I think because of that, Peanut just going to let that one go. Blue buff will go over to Tempt.
It's strange, you know, sometimes when you have vision so heavily invested in one side of the map, you expect the teams to commit for it. But if you look at what BBQ wants to do, let's say that they really committed to going topside, right? They sent 3 people, they killed the Trundle. What would SKT retaliate with? Well, they would obliterate the bottom side of the map. Jarvan, or rather Maokai, Alistar, and Cassidy can kill Ghost and Totoro so easily. So the opportunity cost would be the chance that the bottom lane dies, and if you kill the Trundle, you're not getting any benefits because Cho is never going to beat that matchup, whereas the Xayah and Rakan are imperative for this composition success. So even though they moved to the top side of the map, they didn't want to fully commit to it, and now they're going to commit onto Peanut.
Oh, they forced that ultimate out, and even though Tempt is going to be fine, he's hopping over on his wall. He's looking for Faker. Can he get that poke damage down? Another Rift Walk should be up here. Nice targeting as he almost gets that knockup with the seismic shove. And meanwhile, we got a fight in the bottom lane, pushing away their Ghost, but Totoro looking to come back with that charm, almost lands it onto Bang. Just a bit of trading back and forth. No kills down there.
As long as BBQ continue what they're doing, this is going to be great for them, although they cannot rush this. There are double TPs available. Faker is spacing. He's preparing himself for it.
They're thinking about it. They're going to knock up Wolf, who does not have his ultimate ready to go. That is the big target. In comes Cataclysm, and they take down the Bull. And here's the TP. Faker looking for 1 kill. He gets 1 onto the Rakan. Can he get another? Peanut going in onto Ghost. There's the second one. Faker still on the map here, even though he is very low. Doesn't look like he's going to take another shot as Tempt was up, but a double kill going over to Cassidy.
Ooh, BBQ continues to be aggressive, but they are threading the line now. If that was a little bit worse, Faker would have walked away with even more kills, and now that Cassidy has 6 stacks on his seal, 3-1, he started giving off a kill in the mid lane, burning his own flash 1v1, so this is not the result that you want to see from BBQ. They forced this dive a little bit too much short. It's going onto the Alistar that doesn't have his ultimate, but as soon as it happens, Cassidy's already teleporting in. This dive has already taken a turn for the worse when Cassidy gets to be in a flanking position, and there's just not enough damage there from the ultimate being burned previously to take him down. So he gets to walk away level 11 with plenty of gold in his pocket.
Yeah, not quite the clean gank they were looking for in the bottom lane. They were talking about those TPs, and they worked out quite well. We do have this Infernal Drake up on the map, and after it looks like a bunch of members of SKT weren't in position to threaten this, at least the Infernal Drake will be picked up by BBQ. So having a total of 2 Drakes right now, they do get the Cloud and the Infernal, and the game is pretty close. Only 500 gold, 400 gold ahead right now is BBQ.
Those Drakes could prove to be crucial. Crazy's in trouble.
Ooh, nice pillar. Doesn't look, okay. They are going to commit to that ultimate. You can see Talia making her way up. She does have the Weaver's Wall. Crazy getting low. There's the Feast, and he is tanking that turret. A couple more hits will do it. Oh, the flash gets out up there, and Peanut is going to Q him. Temps, though, still on the chase, doing a bit of poking damage. Peanut getting lower and lower, but here comes Kassadin up into the top side, and Tempt not going to chase any further.
So close, but the Subjugate is too much for Cho'Gath to handle. He's not even that tanky right now, and I really want to see if he was bigger, would that pillar have fully blocked him from crossing over inside the tower? Is size his own worst enemy?
Does size really matter? That's the big question in the top lane for Cho'Gath.
Well, of course it does, Valdez, but it also matters of your positioning, aka how you use it.
Well, not big enough yet. We'll see how he grows later on in this game. But only 0-1 and 0. He's still just trying to farm up there, which is essentially what Cho'Gath does in these games nowadays. Just farm for 30 minutes, get a bunch of items that give you health, and then try to one-shot people with a feast.
BBQ's bottom lane is under some threat because Zuntara does have teleport, and there are 3 wards that allow river access as well as blue side access into BBQ's bottom side. So I think that what they might be waiting for is exactly this, for BBQ to commit to the top side of the map. And they're going to go for this one, but Kassadin's answering bottom.
Okay, they will have the Cataclysm. There's no flash onto Intara. There is the knockup from both members. The Subjugate making this Trundle really hard to kill. Look at how tanky he is. Those rocks are just scratching the Trundle right now. Looks like eventually he will go down to that true damage. But where's the response out of SKT?
BBQ's bottom lane is respecting it, but it's a bit too late. They wanted to push the mid lane, so instead they will simply deny them. But wait a minute, this TP, a 3v4, do they want this?
Okay, that one TP coming out, they clear the wave. Wolf thinking about going in, was tanking that up for a bit. In the meanwhile, up at top lane, Bless getting to work up there with the red buff, should be able to take out that top tier 1.
Look at how strong the Cho'Gath is and how much respect it commands. SKT sees him, it's like, no, we don't want to go for this dive right now. A 3v4 under the turret would have been possible with Alistar's Unbreakable Will. Here comes Maokai again. Oh, they're going for a 5-man.
Okay, saving that Feather Storm, waiting for the Maokai, but getting stunned up, using it at the last second, but still getting locked down by the Maokai. Looks like the Xayah will not have luck this time around. Rift walking in, and Crazy there is to spot, or rather stop that gank, so only 1 kill down on the bottom side.
Sure, the delay is tardy, but it's still there. SKT now with full control of the bottom side of the map. They're just waiting for BBQ to really push a little farther. They need to be giving this up, but they are resilient.
Knight's Vow onto Tempt here. Going to make things a little bit easier for BBQ as a team to hold this position. And it looks like SKT will respect that. Coming in as a team, clearing out the vision, and pushing SKT back.
Well, Jarvan's already in a great spot. He found those ganks, and being left alone to the top side of the map gets you so much lane farm, which is pretty great. As a jungler, you get to pad your CS numbers. No longer can you be criticized, as you have now equal farm. Your morale is high. Your items are the same, are pretty great too, with the completed Cinderhulk and that. And you're now 1 level up onto Peanut. So we're gonna take another look at the dive, and it starts with the Trundle teleport, and the second that Alistar comes in, you know it's over. We saw this dive happening about a minute and a half ago, so it's no surprise that they're able to execute it. There is a bit of an overcommitment to the people necessary onto this, and because they didn't walk away with the turret, it ends up just being a teleport and a kill for SKT. So BBQ respected SKT's possibility of a trade and didn't give them enough to put them in the driver's seat. They're still 800 gold behind, so straight even game for everybody. Or straightforward, rather.
Yeah. Still got that treacherous late game for SKT. If they can manage to get there, they would love to pick up this next Infernal Drake that's coming in a minute. So you can see already Faker and Wolf getting to work, trying to pull away some of the vision that BBQ has set up. You can see this is already happening a minute before the Drake is coming down.
Sometimes this might be too preemptive of a setup because you can give enough time for the opposing team to respond by clearing out vision and base themselves and establish more vision, whereas you might be less inclined to recall, as spent it all and might be out of position after. So we need to see BBQ completely defend this one, but SKT respond with everybody onto this side. So what appeared to be a proactive BBQ was too early, and now they have no more wards to contest this river, whereas SKT, it now completely belongs to them.
Well, they do have a couple of control wards to put down. They will put it down in, and they're going to engage. Look at that, down onto the weak Bang, and he gets taken away. A big mistake and a fantastic engage from BBQ means that at least one of these objectives will go over to them. They're looking for the Baron.
Whoa, and that was a blind engage out of Totoro onto Bang. That was sick. If they can pull this one up, they've got Beast to secure it. You know that SKT wants to fight them, but their team composition is not that strong to team fight without Bang.
They're thinking about trying it here. They want to take the 4v5, but look at how fast this is going down already. They're down 2 Drakes and a member. Lots of CC to come in. They will try to steal this one. Everybody rooted, but there it is. The smite into the feast. Never going to go over to SKT in that position. Now they lose Maokai as well. Things are falling apart, guys, and fast.
God, BBQ is playing so well. This team is not wanting to get relegated. They are on fire here, just taking as much as they can from SKT. They gave him a finger. They took the whole arm. Now they're going to take the dragon as well. A double Infernal stack for them. And the decisiveness out of this team's calls, the commitment that everybody has on this is something that we haven't seen from them for most of this split. And out of nowhere, at the last stretch, they seem to have a final glimmer of hope.
I mean, you were talking about how they took a game off of KT recently. It's not an easy feat, and to look this good against a team like SKT as well. BBQ as a team definitely looking better and better the more that we do see them, but we were expecting SKT to look a little bit better as well.
So how they see Bang get in.
Yeah, they see him.
Oh, so that could have actually missed. That entire knockup could have missed had Bang continued on the path towards Peanut. So they just went with it. They said there's not enough damage for them to turn on to me.
They didn't expect that ward that's, you know, right below the Dragon Pit that saw them go into the brush, and that's really what gave it away.
I think you don't even expect that engage, that commitment, that fierceness, that ability to punish you, and Faker's not even there. There's no need. They're never going to win this fight. It's without Tristana. It's not in a late game situation.
Going against Beast.
Yeah, Kassadin just has his little burst. He's nowhere near the late game status of a one-shot Kassadin. So it was wise for SKT to just dance around, but to give up some lives or try for a steal is not giving enough respect to Crazy.
Definitely true. And here we go. The Baron coming down. We've still got a minute 30 left. This is going to be one turret that falls in the mid lane. They're looking for the inhibitor turret as well. This is a very scary BBQ at this moment in time. And they get the knockup onto Peanut. That should be an easy cleanup. Peanut getting out of position. Going to make this push even stronger. Coming in. Now the Cataclysm coming down. Bless doesn't really have a follow-up, but there's the double knockup. They're looking for the big play. Wolf, though, able to get a pretty nice knockup himself, but Untara not able to do damage in the front line. Wolf going to get caught down, and they're continuing to push. The inhibitor is going to go down. Will they push for the game? Looks like it.
They're going to end right here. Holy smokes.
Is SKT going into playoffs going to go down in 26 minutes? Is this about to happen, guys?
To the team that was contesting for last place, I believe so.
This is real life, guys. Mark it up. This is happening. BBQ is going to take game number 1 against SKT in 26 minutes. Down it goes, the Nexus. And there you have it. GG.
7-11 with a quick